respect everyone as an individual. Spent a lot of time with respect. A few years ago we did have some difficulties, and we've used lots and lots of outside organisations to help us, and that's partly how we've got involved with ISCRE. We believe we can achieve more by working together.
I think the general consensus was that staff were probably okay, pretty welcoming to people who identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual or trans.
But at the end of the day, no one's to treat them differently, no matter what sexuality they are, because at the end of the day, they're still the same as us.
Some students wouldn't be so welcoming, open, accepting, so that was a bit of an issue. Would you say that the word gay is used in a negative way in your school?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
Do you fancy every girl that you see in the streets?
You don't fancy every boy that you see, and you could be their best mate and you could be really good with them, but people just think that you fancy them all the time. That's their...
Some people had heard homophobic language used in college or referring to something as being gay in a negative context.
Gay people are really funny.
Yeah. Right, okay.
Like dance studio.
You think he's funny? I think he's atrocious.
I think he's hilarious.
Stereotypes, there were some assumptions around if you're on hairdressing, if you're a man on a hairdressing course, then you might have been a gay.
If you're a hairdresser or a booty salon person, you're gay, which, you know, there's loads of people who are not.
Muslims, if their kid turned out to be gay, they shouldn't exactly punish them by like disowning them and that. But at the end of the day, it's your kid. Respect for whatever your kid's like. At the end of the day, it's your son.
Respecting faith and respecting sexuality, and that bump that happens because of people's beliefs in terms of sexuality because of their faith.
There's a tendency to think that ethnic groups within the college don't tend to mix, not because they don't want to mix, but maybe because of the courses and subjects that they do.
If you look even to this banner of Lowestoft College, you won't find maritime. Look, the maritime nature is being excluded for many reasons, not because faults of people within, but also because we are, as maritime professionals, always isolate ourselves.
The maritime course seems to be isolated from the rest of the other courses that go on. There's cases of people don't know where to report if something happens. When you don't feel respected, what do you do about it?
Okay, now it's becoming habitual, so let's move on with this thing and go.
Incidents happens to do with race. Some students felt that they would report to their tutor, and if they didn't get to the tutor, they'd go to student services. But there was a sense that a lot of students were unsure, and words being said about people's different colours and nationalities.
I have seen stuff in college, like people saying stuff like nasty names. Sometimes they just pass on the comments that doesn't look nice.
Faith and religion is very much a personal thing and a matter of personal choice.
You can't change how they want to do it, so you have to, in a way, respect it, whether you like it or not.
There's a great diversity in faith and religions, and people choose which one is best for them, really, and they feel comfortable with. One of the core values that we didn't really not agree with, but found difficult, was about expecting the best, because sometimes faith accepts failure. You know, we have to accept that people get it wrong sometimes, things will go wrong. The other thing was about, there seems to be a common thread of respect that runs through faith. It's about respecting people who have the same faith as you, but respecting people who maybe don't have faith.
As I say, I don't have a particular faith myself, but I very much respect it. I've seen people, I've known people who have been very buoyed up by their faith, and I respect that.
Yeah. Gender, race, size, anything. We all have to, because we all are human beings, we all have feelings, we all get hurt. We all have the same, our blood is all the same colour inside, so.
1 in 5 people in Waveney either have a disability or a long-term illness. That one was quite a surprise to me, I have to say. And coupled with that, a third of households have at least one resident who's affected in that way.
How we define disability, what we see as a disability. People with disabilities were welcome at college, although there is a huge difference between integration and inclusion.
No, like, that's not always true. Some people are pushed out because of their disability.
We were accommodating people with disabilities in college, but does that doesn't necessarily mean inclusion.
Lots of people perceive that, for example, some people can't do things while categorizing them as disabled while they can.
Other people making assumptions about people's abilities or inabilities. The main difficulty they felt was that they didn't know how to interact with some people. And they felt that the way forward on that would be working together more.
Come together as like a big group and think through it. Instead of pushing them away, you think of a way around it.
So, and that would create two things. It would help educate people who had little understanding of certain disabilities, and it would help those people with disabilities to feel included.
We talked about what would we call traditionally male and traditionally female courses. Spoke to some people and just asked, got a little bit of a straw poll as to on their courses whether there are mainly males, mainly females, and that seemed to support the fact that on the traditionally male courses they were mainly males, and how we could actually break that down.
There is a girl doing brickwork at the moment, and she's doing really, really well, but that must be so hard for her. Can you imagine going into that environment?
I think also, it's not necessarily the college environment, but of course it's even much harder when they get on site, and that you've got to look at it from that side point of view as well.
The college would support a male who wanted to go into a traditionally female course, and vice versa. Breaking down barriers and mixing people more so that you have more interaction with everybody.
I mean, you don't get introduced to other students and other blocks who are also block related to our construction.
Well, there was a suggestion about having a course swap day. Maybe people who are coming and trying a different course just for a day, just to see what it's like. I mean, they might hate it, might love it, might just think that that's maybe the next sort of step for them.
Just when I sat down is the comments that if you mix the age groups you equal more tolerance, so which again is come out on nearly every table, mixing people equals tolerance. It was felt that if older people complain, they probably are more likely to get a better response than a young person complaining about something, and if older people are consulted about something, then they're more likely to be listened to and their ideas acted upon than younger people.
The older students and the lecturers seem to get on more because they're from the same kind of age group. But then they look at the younger people and they're kind of singing out. The younger people have got each other, but the older people have got the lecturers.
Nice photo opportunity coming up. One hand up, one hand to the side and stop. I'm going to try a spin. Off you go.
That's been very educational. I've learned quite a bit from that, how that people don't have to be singled out anymore, and that there is groups like this to bring people together, like different ethnicities and races. And
I'm just really pleasantly surprised at how well it went. It's just had a good turnout of students from across the college, different courses and different ages, and everyone participated fully. And I was really particularly pleased at how well the morning bit went with the Diversity Speed Dating Cafe.